Welcome to the Power of Design podcast. My name is Jack Osa. I'm an architect, born and raised in Colombia, South America. Years ago, I migrated to the United States to follow my dreams, and today I'm the founder and principal of Osa Studio, a multidisciplinary architectural design firm in Charlotte, North Carolina. In this podcast, we talk about design, business, creativity, and the inspiration we need to create an exciting and powerful built environment.
Our guest today is Saichelle McNeill, the visionary founder behind Washroom Laundry. Saichelle's love for laundry shines as a central theme in her life. What's equally impressive is her commitment to social impact, an avid advocate for offering second chances, proudly employing individuals with criminal records, and actively contributing to the betterment of the community in Charlotte, North Carolina. Join us as we uncover the inspiring journey and values of this incredible entrepreneur who is transforming an industry and championing inclusivity and community empowerment.
Hey Shell, welcome to the Power of Design podcast. How are you today?
I am doing well, thank you. And for welcoming me, let's go ahead and
Cheers.
toast. Cheers.
Yes.
To prosperity,
Yes.
business,
Small business,
good health,
women-owned business,
yes,
diversity.
diversity, for sure.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to talk to you today. I know I met you for the first time maybe 2-3 years ago when we were doing the SBA Emerging Leaders Program.
Yes.
That was during COVID.
It was during COVID,
So it
yes.
was all online, and I saw you there, and I was like, man, she's got it together.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
Yeah, but then the program ended. I never really kept in touch with anybody else until I joined the EO program, the accelerator, and then I run into you again. So I'm excited to talk to you.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you.
Yeah. So Shell, tell me about yourself. Where are you from? What's your story from, when you started to where you are today with your business?
All right. So my name is Saichelle McNeill. I am from a little small town called Fayetteville, North Carolina. Vietnam, as people say, Fort Bragg. That's where I'm from.
Yeah.
I went to high school in Fayetteville and left Fayetteville in the 11th grade, and I finished high school in Columbus, Georgia. And then went back to Fayetteville to attend Fayetteville State University, where I received my BS in biology.
Oh, wow.
Right. So I was going to pharmacy school and going to become a pharmacist.
Interesting.
Yes. and even the path to get to pharmacy school was very interesting.
So what made you go to for biology?
Well, I wanted to be a pharmacist.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that biology and chemistry was my track to get into pharmacy school and be a doctor of pharmacy.
Yeah. So
that's what I wanted to be.
Did you know anyone who was a pharmacist, or
Nope.
you just said that's what I want to be?
I just said that's what I wanted to be.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I was working hard towards it, but I was a young parent, and so after college, I went immediately into the workforce. And so, excuse me, I was using my degree very early out of college. I worked for LabCorp, and I did paternity testing and also testing for bone marrow transplant. So we tested patients to see if they were compatible for a bone marrow transplant. And I did that for maybe 6 months because I was commuting to work 3 hours one way. So I lived in Fayetteville and was working in this smaller town named Burlington for LabCorp. And that wasn't going to be, I couldn't do that commute long term, and I wasn't quite sold on moving to Burlington. But then I started, interviewing, and I got a role in quality assurance for Unilever, which is they have a huge portfolio, home and personal care items. And I worked in Rayford, North Carolina, at a plant that manufactured the Suave, Dove, Degree body wash and deodorants. And at the time, they had an aerosol plant. So they did the aerosol sprays. I don't know if you remember that,
Yeah.
but it was highly dangerous. But yeah, so I worked in there and I did some bench work. And I was there for many, many years. And I got promoted up to, some operations roles. And they were very serious about the Toyota way, lean manufacturing, all of those things, 5S and operational efficiency and all of that stuff. And so I really dove into that stuff when I was there, and it really helped me to start to build my career,
Mm-hmm.
moving into other manufacturing facilities.
Interesting.
Mhm.
So, how do you think you started to align, your natural skills and what you like with, those tasks that you said, oh, wow, this is kind of new and I kind of like it. How did you find that transition to really understand aligning your strengths with, the tasks you were doing?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. In manufacturing, which was very different from bench work in like a medical lab. Every day is different. It's always something different. While there are processes that SOPs, standard operating
Mm-hmm.
procedures, every day presents some different challenge in
Yeah.
some way. And I loved being able to go in and be presented with a challenge and then have to work through that challenge, whether
Yeah.
by myself or with a team of people. And most oftentimes, as when I got into operation side, I was always working with other people to address those challenges. But
Mm-hmm.
even in a lab, sometimes, you have a sample and you work your one sample from beginning to end. So if there's an issue with it, you go back and fix it. You can start over again, or exactly where in the process
Mm-hmm.
to kind of restart or start taking those steps again to figure out what the issue is. So I think as if I had on my scientist hat, it's kind of the same thing. It's some challenges there, but you're mostly a individual contributor.
Yep.
Versus if you are in, an operations role with a team of people, you're not an individual contributor and you're working on those challenges with a team of people. And I mean, either way, it's good, but it's always much better when you're working with a team of people.
Sure. Yeah.
Because you have a little more insight. I mean, all kinds of great things will come out of that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. What was the next step after that? That
Well,
job?
after manufacturing, I learned so much. I worked for some very good companies that taught me a lot. I worked for Miller Brewing Company, brewed beer. I was a tester, so I was able to test the beer.
Oh, wow.
I'm not a beer drinker. They say that people who are not beer drinkers are the best taste testers because our palate is clear.
Oh,
right?
wow.
And I worked in operations there, and I did a little bit of training as well.
Yeah.
And then I went to Energizer Battery, and that is where I cut my teeth. They taught me everything. They taught me how to be a good leader. They taught me how to be an excellent manager, how to motivate people,
Mm-hmm.
and how to implement change in the workforce.
Wow.
And those things are paramount to being an entrepreneur or just an effective leader,
Sure.
right? And so I will say, while my time at Energizer was tough because it was hard on me. I
Yep.
will say that at that company, I was the first time that I have ever gotten written up, and I was written up there as a member of the leadership team, right? I
Yeah.
was put on a PIP, a performance improvement plan. And this was, I couldn't believe it. I'm
Yes.
like, these people are trying to get rid of me. I know I'm a better employee than
Yes.
this. And, I worked my way back from the PIP, but it was a struggle, but I give credit to that leadership team at Energizer for making me the leader and entrepreneur that I am today.
Wow.
For sure. And I even worked in food processing with Kraft Foods for a while, and that was a tough environment. I've learned to work in union environments and non-union environments, and a lot of people never get to experience that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something very unique, of course, but it gives you a whole other set of tools for your leadership tool bag,
Yeah.
right? Because managing people in a union environment may not necessarily be managing people. It's managing relationships for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were exposed to that pressure,
Yes.
how did you react to it?
Probably like most of everybody, I suffered under
Yeah.
pressure, right? It got to a point where I did not like that job. I liked the people, I liked my team, but the leadership team, I felt that they were being unfair to me.
Yeah.
But hindsight is 2020, right? And I had some very good leaders and managers, and then I had some that weren't so good. But what that pressure did to me was help me to glean from both
Mm-hmm.
things that I could use and not use, right? Whether it was from a manager that I thought was very good or a manager that I thought wasn't so good.
Yeah.
But I suffered under pressure, and it took me a while to build my courage back up to say that, you know what, this is not insurmountable.
Yeah.
You can do this.
Yeah.
You've been doing this for a while. I mean, you wouldn't be where you are if you weren't,
Right.
Didn't have some modicum of, knowledge and experience and success to do it. Like,
Oh, sure.
you can do this. And I just dialed into my, my personal willpower.
Yeah.
And I overcome the PIP and ended up getting a promotion that year.
Yes.
Right. So it was everything. It was real good. And I can remember my manager at the time telling me, like, you know what, this was designed to be tough, and we did not think that you were going to be successful in this pit.
Yeah. I don't remember where was that, but I heard that the most important asset an entrepreneur has is self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
The ability to believe
Yes.
that you can figure things out.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know how, but you know you can.
That's right.
And I think, being in that environment, having all that pressure, it forces you to talk to yourself in a way you haven't talked before,
Mm-hmm.
be in a place you haven't been before.
Mm-hmm.
You can go many different ways. You can give up and quit and go find an easier job.
Yeah.
Or wait and rethink, because the environment is what it is.
That's right.
That's not going to change.
It's not.
But you have the ability to change your reaction to it,
Mm-hmm.
how you address it.
And that's a very good point, right? I think things started to change for me when I started to realize that it wasn't them, it was me.
Yeah.
And I had to change something. If I wanted to be successful and hang around there, I needed to change something. And, my attitude started to change towards people that I was working with, on the teams that I was working on. And once that triggered, right, things started to go in a more favorable way for me.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
You actually
right.
start enjoying the challenges.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Things go
welcome
wrong,
them.
like, okay, let's do it.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely right.
And the other thing that helps is with perspective, because at the end of the day, what's the worst that can happen, right?
Mhm.
It's uncomfortable, it's work, but
Yes.
you're not gonna die. I mean, everything it's okay.
Yes.
It's just sometimes we just create in our mind this horrible scenario, but the stakes are not that high.
Right. Absolutely right. Well, I say the stakes aren't that high. I think as an entrepreneur, though, when
Yeah.
we have people that we're responsible for, the stakes are pretty damn high.
Mhm.
They're pretty damn high.
Yeah. Okay, and then
And so, yeah, we are into manufacturing, and we've been doing this now for 12 or 13 years, and it's like, is this all that I'm gonna be? I had gotten to a point where I was doing operational efficiency, and my teams were responsible for cost savings, right? And so we would go through and identify cost savings for the company, and then put together plans to either execute ourselves or pass off for execution to see some cost savings back to the business. And after 1 or 2 projects, and I'm saving these people all this money, and I say to myself, well, if I can do it for them, maybe,
That's
just
right.
maybe, I can do it for myself.
Yeah.
Right. And while I didn't step out at that time, I ended up losing a job, which is kind of what propelled me into entrepreneurism, right? And my story is very probably it might be something that people have heard before, but I don't share it a lot. And I guess since we're here and we're talking, and you have all of these wonderful people that decide to spend some time with you for your podcast, I'll share. I was incarcerated for 27 months, and upon my release, I was released to Charlotte,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that I could go back to manufacturing, no problem, because I was so good at it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was interviewing and wasn't going my way. And I finally got an interview with Corning. You heard of Corning?
Nope.
Corning is a fiber optic manufacturing plant
Oh, yes.
out in Hickory, right?
Yeah, they're huge.
They're very huge.
Yeah, they
yes.
do Gorilla Glass.
Yes, they do a lot of stuff.
All the iPhones have their glass.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. So that company, I interviewed with them out in Hickory, and had a very good interview. Everyone was, the team was excited about me being there and the knowledge and experience that I could bring. And I was sure that I would get an offer, right?
Yep.
And so, like the next day, I got an offer, and I didn't even negotiate a salary, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm getting ready to go back to work. And, when can you start? As soon as possible. And so there was no relocation or anything with this offer, but I was in for it. And the day before I was supposed to start that job, I got a knock at the door with a certified letter rescinding my job offer. Yeah, right? And so down in the dumps I go again. Now I'm back on the job hunt. And instead of searching at the level that I know I can perform at, where I'm good at,
Mm-hmm.
I had to start looking for different jobs.
Yeah.
I was working for Waffle House as a cook. And while it was enough for me. It was satisfying, right? I love to cook. It's kind of like a happy place for me.
Yeah.
I just knew that I could do more than that.
Yes.
I could deliver more to people, not just, by serving them food, but just servicing them, period, like a whole person. And so I was with a friend of mine who owns a tow truck company, and he would, ride me around the city, and I'm learning all of these places. And one day I was telling him that my prison hustle was taking people's laundry, because there was a half a mile walk one way to take your laundry, to have your laundry done.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to do it. It was cold. It was hot. It was raining. I'm tired, whatever it is. Nobody wanted to do it. And I started doing that for the older population that was incarcerated, right?
Yeah.
And it just kind of took off. And I was like, I don't want to walk. I'm not going. Like, Shell, it was McNeill. McNeill, you going down? Yeah, I'm going today. So it got to a point where I would wake up in the morning and there were 15 or 20 bags at my door.
Yeah.
And all day I would just walk back and forth with these bags. And so I was telling my friend this while we were riding in the tow truck. He was like, yo, you should do it.
Yes.
And I was like, sound easy, but how am I supposed to do that? Right?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know, but you should do it. I mean, I think that's so dope. And so he had this 1985 Chevy van that was a bastardized van. They had kind of put it together, and he gave it to me, and he was like, I don't know how you do it. You do it, right? And I was like, dude, I can't take this van from you. And so I gave him $1. He signed over the title to me, and now I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to go about this.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my mind, I was going to, and maybe I should step back now and say that I own the Washroom Laundry service, and we're a full service mobile laundry, dry cleaning, delivery for both residential and commercial clients. Mm-hmm. All right. And we service Charlotte and surrounding areas. And so when I started to think about how I would execute this plan of providing a laundry service, I thought that I would go out and get my customers things, bring them back to my house, wash them, dry them, fold them, and then take it back to them.
Yeah.
And so when I went to speak with the business attorney to help me with the formation documents and all that stuff, he was like, hey, isn't there somebody that does that now? And I was like, yeah. He was like, why don't you talk to them? And I'm like, man, I'm supposed to be the creative one here. Like,
yes.
What's going on? I was like, but that's great. And so I go to over 45, 50 laundromats and dry cleaners saying, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. Can you help me? Will you process for me?
Yes.
Everybody says no. Why would we do that? Come back in a month. Come back in 2 weeks. We got our own customers. And I met this guy out in East Charlotte, Paul Kwan, who's my good friend to this day and a very great resource for me for new clients. But I met him, and after speaking with him a couple of times, he says, you know what? You seem safe. You feel safe. And I was like, listen, I'll work for you for free.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to learn. And I worked for him in his dry cleaners for a few months. And afterwards, he ends up saying to me, listen, we got this drop store over here. I think you should have it. I think this will be great for you. And I'm like, you know my situation.
Yes.
How am I supposed to buy a business while I'm trying to start a business that I don't have money to start?
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know. We'll figure it all out. We'll figure it out. And I'm like, okay. And I'm still by this time I'm working in one of the dining facilities at UNCC. And I really love this, right?
Yes.
Because it's all of these kids from all over, and they're coming in, and they're looking for me. It's like, who made that today? And I said, well, I made it. It's like, okay, I want some. It was
Yeah.
a feel good thing. And I remember telling the people at UNCC, I was like, I'm starting my own business. I'm not going to be here long. Like, don't get used to me.
Yes.
I'm going to start my own business. And everybody's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, right. I mean, I know how many people have said that before. Yep. And so, Paul and I figure out how to make this thing work. And, my tow truck driver friend, he loans me some money. And another friend of mine loans me some money. And after I paid them back years later, it was way off schedule. One of them said to me, hey, listen, I'm going to tell you something. I didn't expect to get this money back. Right? And I'm like, listen, if it was the last thing I did, I was going to make sure you got your money back. But we signed the lease transfer for what was the Sunrise Dry Cleaners in April of 2016.
Okay.
Right? And so I was released from prison in August of 2015.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was fast.
It was fast.
That is amazing.
I was still working in the dining facility at UNCC up until the summer of 2016. And after the summer, I didn't go back because I was working in my dry cleaners.
Yes.
And every day I walked in there, it was always, wow, this is mine. Wow, this is mine. And so I started with a dry cleaners, and COVID took out my dry cleaning business.
Oh, yeah.
And so after COVID, we really had to rethink how we did business, and we pivoted like a 360-degree turn, right? We went from having a brick and mortar to 100% mobile. Like, we had like a small office that we were working out of when we went there. It was really just vans and computers and cell phones.
The Power of Design podcast is brought to you by OSA Studio, a multidisciplinary design firm focused on creating impactful experiences through the power of design. We partner with our clients to create buildings, interior spaces, brands, and strategies that help you deliver a successful project. As a minority-owned firm, we are committed to building a diverse platform of curious and driven design professionals so we can together pursue our full potential. For more information, please visit us at www.osastudio.com.
What do you think made you be like that? What? Because, not everybody is like that.
Right.
Most people will have a story where like, oh yeah, this happened and I feel sorry about myself. And yeah, I'm so thankful to get a job. And I'm just gonna be comfortable with just, something. Where does that come from?
So I know, you may not have seen the movie Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, I have.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Why?
That's it. Nobody puts baby in a corner. But it's something about it's something of what triumph does for you, no matter how big or small, right?
Mhm.
I have found some level of success, but when I talk to some people, they're like, "Oh my gosh, your story is amazing." And to me, it's like I just did what I
Yeah.
thought was the right thing to do. Like
Sure.
I was just working, my work.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything extra special or anything that someone else would not have thought of to do at some point,
Yeah.
right? It just came maybe a little more natural and a little more faster to me,
Yeah.
right? I don't
Are,
think I did anything different.
are you able to connect, that mindset and attitude toward the situation to something back in your past, growing up with your parents, with your family, that you can connect?
Listen, I had a great childhood. I was an only child for a long time, right? I was my grandmother's and her brother and sister's only grandchild for a while, right?
Yeah.
I'm super spoiled. I kind of got everything that I wanted. I did things that other kids in my neighborhood wasn't doing. I feel like I had a great childhood.
Yeah.
And I don't know that there was one thing or another that stood out. I will say this. I've been wearing glasses, and this might be funny to some people. I've been wearing glasses since I was in the second grade. Now, I used to get picked on big time about my glasses,
Mm-hmm.
right? And, sometimes I have to kind of come out swinging, not physically swinging,
Yes.
but I have to kind of talk a little trash to let people know, listen, I'm not going to take this,
Yes.
right? And so maybe that's it, but, I don't know that
Sure.
there's ever been a time where I kind of faced like adversity
Mm-hmm.
and had to kind of pull, press into it or get better from it.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've ever faced that kind of diversity, or not just diversity, but that kind of anger or aggression toward me.
Sure.
Right? Some people have. It just hasn't happened to me.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's an amazing story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not normal.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not a normal story. And I tell people, I started my business out of necessity, not because I realized or recognized a need in the market.
Mhm.
It was very different from me. And maybe I know that is why, my approach to business, my approach to my team and the people that I work with and for, why my approach with them is very different. I look at numbers, but I've learned I'm driven by what makes me feel good right here,
Sure.
right? If I'm not feeling good right here, then it's probably not going to work well for me or, whoever's on the other end. And the other thing that this has taught me is that, we have to support each other through whatever it is, right? And that everybody, every person deserves a second chance, a third chance, or a fourth chance.
Yeah.
Right? Where would I be had Paul not said, "Hey, come back
Yep.
and listen and hear me out,"
Yep.
right? And just it's so important.
Yeah. And I think one of the things that I see in your story that I think is very valuable is I always say that the most important relationship we have is our relationship with ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we're too hard on ourselves.
Oh.
And sometimes we don't give ourselves second chances,
We don't.
right? But I think, in your story, I can see how you believe in yourself. You gave yourself chances. You had grace towards yourself.
Mhm.
You had forgiveness toward yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very healthy.
Yeah.
There are people that take a lot of time just to get there. And I think that for some reason, automatically, you just show up like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you see results, positive results,
Mm-hmm.
being, your confidence, doing things that you want, doing things that you love,
Yeah.
having a positive impact in other people,
Mm-hmm.
and using business ownership as a platform to make that happen.
Yeah, for sure. I do, and I'm just now coming into that part, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because before I thought that I was just doing what I needed to do,
Yeah.
right? I was just trying to, build something that that meant something, and to say, wow, oh gosh, you did that, right? I didn't know that I could do it. I didn't, it's not an instruction manual that comes with entrepreneurism, right?
Right.
It's like being a parent all over again. You
Yeah.
just kind of have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Um, but I am just getting to a point where, one, I'm able to share that story, right? And two, I'm able to use my experience as an entrepreneur to help other entrepreneurs, right? And not just other entrepreneurs, but people who have walked that path that I've walked,
Oh, yeah.
who may or may not be able to share their story, but to be able to feel what you were talking about, that there is something positive on the other end. You just have to reach deeply to find it, and to know that you're worth it,
Oh, sure.
and that it can happen.
Oh, yeah. It's
It
possible.
can, yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
So I'm just getting there, and I'm thankful for people like you for having me on your podcast. But not only that, just sharing with me. We've done the accelerator program
Mm-hmm.
together, and just being in those environments with people who are understanding
Yeah.
and who accept diversity.
Yeah.
Right. It's huge,
Sure.
because a lot of times, people will feel not valued, or like they have some sort of scarlet letter,
Sure.
and it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah. Help me understand your business.
Mhm.
What's your business today?
Mhm.
Who are your customers? What do you guys bring to the table? Who's your team? How do you run it? Tell me everything about it.
All right. Well, my business, I like to tell people that we're a logistics company. We just do a little bit of marketing,
Mhm.
right? Now, what we ferry is laundry, all things laundry. We are wash, dry, fold. We are dry cleaning, and this is anything that you would put in your washing machine.
Mm-hmm.
To those things that that are more delicate, right? That need to be dry cleaned. We do all of that stuff. We service both residential and commercial clients. I like to say that everybody is our client, like everyone else says, but everyone is really not our client.
Mm-hmm.
People who, what we sell, our core item, or our core service, is convenience.
Yes.
We sell convenience.
Yes.
And so if you are looking to purchase that, and people have said over the years, if you could put that in a bottle and sell it, we've not figured out how to put it in a bottle, but
Yeah.
we put it in a bag and it smells good.
Yeah.
Right. But we sell convenience. And so if you're a busy family, right?
Yeah.
Families have gone and gotten themselves so busy. Mom has no time to cook, get the kids off to football, basketball, ballet, soccer, dance class, swim class. She can't do it by herself, and
Yeah.
dad is busy too, right?
Yeah.
He's working, he's taking the kids to do what they're doing, and they're not only are we busy with our own families, but our family unit in America has grown to include our parents.
Yes.
So we're caring for our parents now,
Yes.
right? And one of the things that we're working on at Washroom Laundry right now is really targeting seniors, because who would have thought that doing laundry could be unsafe?
Oh, wow.
And for
Yeah.
seniors, doing laundry is unsafe. There has been, there's documented data that supports seniors hurting themselves while they're doing laundry, right?
Yeah.
And then if you are a business that has laundry needs, your business is not laundry. Your business is whatever service or product that you offer, right? And how can you be successful at, delivering a good customer service experience to your customer if you're focused or worried about your laundry needs, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I will say, people don't buy products or services, like you
Mhm.
said.
Uh-huh.
People buy experiences.
They buy experiences.
And even more than convenience is nice. We all want convenience, but why do we want convenience? And I think you're giving people back time.
Time, absolutely.
Which is the most precious thing we have, because you cannot make more time.
Cannot make more time.
If you
You have to
spend the
take some
time, it's
things
gone.
away. Yeah,
It's
you
gone.
have to take some things
Yeah,
away
there
to
is,
get that time.
you cannot make time.
Yeah.
But giving people time, and I feel that, like, if a good message for your, and I bet you're doing it for your marketing and stuff, is like, we'll give you your time back.
We're giving you your
Spend
time
more
back.
time doing what you love.
Yes.
Spend more time with the people that you love, not folding these things.
That's right.
Because we all want to do it. And I think the other thing is this one. We all want to look good, right? We all want to have our clothes, folded.
It does something about your confidence, right?
Because you feel better
That's
about
right.
yourself.
You do.
So you're selling confidence.
Selling
You're
confidence.
selling time.
Yep.
You're selling safety.
Yes.
Because, what you mentioned about elderly people, getting hurt or something.
Yep.
So who doesn't want that?
And the other thing, you talked about, giving people back their time. You mentioned something else about, all the things that people absolutely need. One thing that always comes up for us is, how do you wash people's underthings?
Yes.
So I can remember my friend saying to me, like, "You're gonna wash people's drawers?" It's like, yeah, why not, right?
Man, yeah, and it's not like you're touching it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
And you have to touch it, and we use gloves. But this
Yeah.
is what I'll tell you. I own the laundry service, and probably for the first year and a half, I never sent my own underthings.
Yeah.
Right. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm not doing any laundry today.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any underthings. And I put it all in the bag, and I just didn't even think about it. And ever since then, I have been sending my own underthings. And so for those of you who have concerns about sending your underthings for a laundry service,
Yeah.
forget about it. Forget about it.
Yeah, I mean,
It's one of those things we all have.
sure.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, well, tell me about your team and kind of how you run your operations.
All right. So we have a team of 6. And right now, well, we have a team of 6 plus 4, 3.5. We have 6 drivers, and we have 4 people that do laundry processing. We're in the process of building out this great laundry facility here in Charlotte. I'm going to say it's going to be one of its kind here in the city. And the reason I say it's going to be one of its kind is because it's not a large and it's not a small. It's definitely not a laundromat. It's a medium sized. And in this facility, we'll be able to process about 10,000 pounds in an 8-hour shift. We have some really cool equipment that we've purchased, and are excited to use it. And we've just, I guess we've just signed the contract to purchase a folding machine.
Nice.
So where we were folding all of these towels by hand, now we'll
Wow.
get to feed them through this machine, and it does this boop, boop, boop. Any kind of way we want. It'll have about 150 settings.
Yes.
Oh
that's
my
amazing.
gosh. It is super
But it makes so
amazing.
much sense. I mean, it's such a simple task.
Right.
And we have all these machines that do so many things.
Everything.
Like, have you watched those videos of like people in Asia teaching kids, and they're this box?
That's the box.
And they're like 1, 2, 3,
Yes.
4. And like, yeah, it's a
Yes.
simple task. Everyone has to do it.
Everybody has to do it. And that looks really good, doesn't it?
Yes.
But my gosh, we'll be able to do it with a piece of equipment.
Wow.
My team, I will have to have someone to feed this equipment.
Sure.
To feed the garments into the equipment. But this equipment will be able to fold all of the things that you would wear on a daily basis, with the exception of your underthings, socks,
Nice.
everything else. It is a game changer. And there's not another one in this city. So it's going to be a showstopper, and we'll make sure that we get him this information. So if you guys ever want to come see anything that's close to a showstopper, you'll be able to come to the Washroom Laundry service.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But so it's 6 drivers, 4 laundry attendants, and myself. I'm still kind of wearing all of the hats for the business. We have a marketing team that is, they're not an employee of the washroom, but they work for us on a daily basis to make sure that, you know, our social media looks good, our
Mm-hmm.
website looks good, make
Yeah.
sure that, you know, we're putting out some decent content.
Yeah.
And right now, that's where we are. Once this facility comes up, we'll bring on an operations manager to kind of manage the daily operations. I will say that I am, you know, I'm still 100% involved in my business, and I will always probably be 100% involved in it in some way.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Sure.
Right. I'm okay with that. I think it's important to understand what's going on and have an idea of especially what our employees think.
Yeah.
Right. How they feel, how things are going with them. I'm very in tune with them because without them, what we do is not possible.
Sure.
And I need to make sure that everything that they love is something that I absolutely care about.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. How do you see yourself and your business in the next 5, 10 years? What's your vision?
Wow. Well, that's a great question. In 5 or 10 years, you know, I really want us to be competing with these big box linen service, laundry service companies. So Cintas, Aramark, UniFirst, that's who we want to compete with,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot of clients or customers that they have that or that approach them that they can't service. And right now we're probably likely servicing them,
Yeah.
but their current client is our target market. That's where
Yeah.
we want to be in 10 to 15 years. Right now we have about 3,500 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
In 10 years, we want to have 50,000 square feet,
Mm-hmm.
right? We want to go for the gusto. I was scared to say something.
Sure.
crazy. Balls to the wall.
Yeah. What advice do you have for people that are kind of in a bad situation? They're one of the things that to me as an immigrant, which is huge, is if you are in United States 2023 alive and you have access to YouTube and Google, you can do anything.
You can do anything.
Yes.
Yes.
Anything. So what advice do you have for people that have that desire to pursue their passion, start their own business because they see others doing it, but for some reason they're trapped in a job or they're trapped in jail or they're somewhere where that is not happening, but they're dreaming about it. What advice will you give them?
Well, first thing I'm telling them to do is if they can, take a drink.
Yes.
Sometimes it helps to clear your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But the most important thing that I would say that helped me is that you cannot give up. If you, I was so close to giving up so many times, and I can remember somebody saying to me, and I don't remember who, but man, when it seems so hard and like you just can't go anymore, you are so close. If you give up right then, you're going to miss out on it.
Yeah.
And everybody, whether they will admit it or not, has FOMO. They have
Sure.
fear of missing out.
Oh, yeah.
And so I think the number one piece of advice that I can give to anybody is go for it. Do not give up on yourself. And I think you said that.
Mm-hmm.
Keep pushing until you get there because you can do it. And it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
And people will make you think that it is so freaking easy
Yes.
to start a business and grow a business. And it does not happen overnight. Hell, for some people, it takes 10 or 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Or more. But if you go after it and it makes your heart feel good, it makes your spirit feel good, you found success.
Yeah. It's worth
Right?
it.
Success is different for everybody.
Yes.
And if you're not motivated by money, you're going to be way more successful to me
Yeah.
than anyone else.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
But so what I would tell you is to keep pushing. Do not give up, especially when it gets hard.
Sure. And my last question is, do you have any question for me?
Well, we had such a great conversation before this. I hope that this conversation, helps, you with future podcast guests. I hope that it provides some good conversation, for you, your team, and the way that you think about diversity and all of the things, right? Diversity and inclusion. And was this podcast just as easy as all of the others?
A lot easier.
Whatever.
For real.
You're too kind.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that goes back to the self-confidence conversation.
Uh-huh.
You're confident about yourself. Sometimes when people are thinking too much about what others are going to think, or,
Yeah.
the conversation is different, right?
Mhm.
And you can feel and you can sense in the conversation, layers.
Yes.
There's no layers here.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You get what you get.
Yeah. That's it.
And I'll tell you this, what you will get is laughs and, just high energy, right? I like high energy. I don't like low energy.
Yeah.
I want to laugh.
Yes.
I don't really want to cry.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Shell, thank you so much for your time today.
Man.
Very proud of you.
Thank you.
You're making a massive impact here that you don't even realize what you're doing. When I see you out there volunteering to doing things, I'm like, is she running a business and doing this? I know how hard it is. Like,
You're right.
it's really hard.
Yeah.
So I know you're just getting started. There is a massive upside that you don't even imagine that you're working for. So I'm very happy for you, for your future, and
Thank you.
and for everyone around you. I think they really get a really good amount of energy just by interacting with you, because you are a blessing to
Thank you
to
so
yourself,
much.
to your family, to your community, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you. That was so kind. I appreciate it. And right back at you. All of the things.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the Power of Design podcast. Please remember to subscribe, rate, and review if you like this content, and find us online at thepowerofdesignpodcast.com. I invite you to join my mission to become a better version of yourself through the power of design.